Hi guys, Stormboy13. Now this is going to be a very complex video to explain. Last night it has been announced that Leicestershire, or Leicester perhaps, is under a strict lockdown yet again. But yeah, I'm in Queen's Park in Loughborough today, which is in Leicestershire, and it's open. Why is that? Why hasn't Loughborough been affected by the lockdown? Well, you're going to find out in just a few minutes, right after this very important intro. Every day is different. Every video is different. But my passion will always be the same. Oh! Oh my God! This is Kai from Warshawn, aka Stormboy13, and the storm has arrived. Wow! Hi guys, Stormboy13. Firstly, I want to apologise for the delay of the weather forecast yet again, because it should have been up Sunday. It wasn't up till early Tuesday. Problem is, for some odd reason, I always seem to get internet problems on a Sunday. Probably because we're in the house a lot more than we've been used to, and I don't know, it just sometimes disrupts the connection with the internet at times. I don't know why it happens on a Sunday. So apologise for the delay, and then obviously there was also difficulties with Movie Maker, and I don't know why it happened, but it completely messed up the captions on there. Maybe it's just because I didn't save it properly, and then confusion occurred, and then this happened. So sorry about that, guys. Anyways, enough of that. Let's put that to the side. I need to do an update on what's been happening. It's about Leicester. Now, you may be wondering, you're in Queen's Park, Loughborough, that is in Leicestershire. Why isn't that closed? I'm going to get to that in just a sec. But basically, I did a video yesterday that I was on my guard in preparation for disappointing news that the whole of Leicestershire, which will include Loughborough, will be placed under lockdown. And I was completely, well, let's say I was miserable yesterday. I was literally like, I don't know, a grumpy old cat. It probably doesn't make much sense, but I was just miserable as shit, basically, yesterday. And when I heard the news last night that the whole of Leicester is under stricter lockdown restrictions, that's right, it means not just they're going to be, well, the pubs and restaurants won't be reopening by Saturday, but also non-essential shops and other places that were recently reopened are now closed again. And I've also thought stay-at-home orders will be all across Leicester, and travelling to, from and against Leicester cannot be permitted unless absolutely essential. And I just thought, bummer, I can't go there to Loughborough. And obviously, because there's very limited places I can do right now, because lockdown is still kind of on schedule, because I can't go to Nottingham very much at the moment because I have to get the bus to get there. But what I've heard this morning, I was very surprised yet very relieved, and I'm not quite sure why. Most of Leicester is on strict lockdown as it was scheduled, but not everywhere actually is in lockdown, if it makes sense. Under a red zone, I think it's about 20-mile wide local area that is placed under lockdown. Helicopters just over there hovering the distance. But for some odd reason, Loughborough isn't in the red zone. I would probably more say it's in the amber zone than in the green zone. I'll mention that in just a sec. I was like, wait a second, why isn't Loughborough in there? Loughborough's in Leicestershire. Well, it wasn't very clear why, but I think I may have a few theoretical reasons why Loughborough wasn't part of lockdown in Leicestershire. It is very close to Nottingham, in the borders between Nottingham and Leicester, and from where I live, again, I can't mention too much detail for obvious reasons, but I live very close to Leicestershire. I live in South Nottingham and stuff, because that's why it doesn't take that long for me to get to Loughborough. But it could be to do with the fact that Loughborough is actually quite a distance away from Leicester, and it's probably more than 20 minutes, 30 minutes away. I'm no good with miles and stuff in terms of how far away from one place to the other it is. But that could be one of the reasons. The other reason could be that there's far fewer people living in Loughborough than it is in Leicester. Loughborough, I think, has about a rough estimation of about a couple of thousand people. I don't really know. Leicester probably has about a couple of 100,000 people living there. Because what I've also learned as well, that could be the reason why Loughborough isn't on lockdown, but I think the other reason, well, there may be another reason, but I think Leicester, more often than Loughborough, has more of an I can't really pronounce it very well, envicicity rates. I can't, that's my best shot. What that means, I think you probably know what it means, but basically, Leicester's home to a bit more of a varied community, if it makes sense. Like, Leicester's one of those few places in the UK. I think I'm not going to say, because my terminology probably might be completely off. But what I'm assuming in Leicester's got a much more varied, or slightly more varied backgrounds living there. And the information I may give out is probably false, so I do apologise if it's a bit confusing, but I'm guessing with certain background, I don't know why, but that's what they say on the news, is that people who are from South Asian backgrounds, or I hate to say this, but people living in, basically the chances of catching coronavirus, I don't know why, but people who are more likely to catch coronavirus, according to the news, I'll make sure that is correct information up on there. South Asian people and black people are more likely to catch coronavirus than the other community. So that's what came from the news. I'm guessing it could be to do with Leicester, but then also to do with the fact that Leicester is quite an urban area, and it's literally in the middle of the UK. So it's nowhere near in the coast, and obviously the virus is more likely to occur in urban areas than rural areas. And there's also a lot of people per 100,000, let's say, living in a very short spaced area in Leicester, and it's probably the other reason why the cases, well, probably more to do with the second reason, but it's probably more likely with the fact that coronavirus has just been constantly hovering around Leicester since the end of March. And I think initially it was probably about 1,000 cases every week, went down, and then it started rising a bit up again. It could be to do with the protest recently, what's been happening with George Floyd, and then with lockdown restrictions temporarily eased, it just probably got people out again, and then that's just what caused the waves to go up. And then, yeah, this is how we came to from today. So yes, guys, I just wanted to give you an update, but Loughborough, however, is not in the red zone, so I don't exactly know why. That's the best I can give to you, but there could be multiple reasons. But I'm just really glad. I'm actually quite lucky. It sounds harsh, and I do apologise, but in reality, I am lucky that I was able to go to Loughborough and just even go to Queen's Park, have a bit of lunch, head back again. Whilst other people, those who are living in main Leicester, my thoughts go out to everyone in Leicester, and obviously with loved ones lost in this terrible, terrible pandemic. Obviously it just hasn't got much better there, so my thoughts go out to them. Boris and the government's trying to do their best to clear the virus away and save as many lives as possible. And also, interestingly, Leicester is also the first city in the whole of the UK to go into a local lockdown, so the chances of that happening, well, it's quite low, but it's just so unlucky. Having said that, though, there may be other cities that could, it's true of what I've read earlier, that some UK cities or even big towns could go into local lockdowns in the future. For example, possibly Plymouth or Gloucester, maybe Derby, maybe. That's what I've saw from a news report. Online, basically, but it might not happen. It just depends on the number of cases. Certain locations have high cases that is in other places. Again, it could be to do with the envicicity rate or something, or just because there's loads of people living in a short space. Those could be the reasons why, and it just happened to be Leicester and not London, they say. But that's it for this video, guys. I just wanted to give you an update. Leicester is on lockdown, which is terrible news. I've also forgot to mention that Loughborough may not be on strict lockdown, but I feel that Loughborough is probably not going to be reopening further leisure activities, like for example restaurants and cinemas and so on, and etc, probably because it's still in a relatively high rate, but not high enough rate to go back to strict lockdown. So I'd say it's an amber zone, but I could be wrong. They may reopen further leisure places on Saturday, but we'll see what happens. But yeah, anyways, I'm going to end the video for you there. This is an update, but yeah, I'm doing okay. Definitely feel a lot better than I was yesterday, a bit more optimistic hopefully, and we'll hopefully onwards and upwards. Anyways guys, that's it for now. What a way to end June. Like, comment, subscribe, stay safe rest of the week, and Storm is now out.